My question also is on authenticity, Tom, and about balancing the fake it till you make it and balancing acting as we believe that we should, as we believe is the low entropy choice, and then just acting authentically. Sort of, I've been playing with both and learning from both. And I'm just wondering if there's a way to balance that for optimal learning. Because the consequences I see that come from acting authentically normally teach me more at the being level, but I also don't want to just go out and act crazy, you know?
Yeah, well, it depends, Diego, on what the situation is. You know, I guess I could say how serious it is, how much trouble you might cause, you know, how much benefit you might reap, how helpful you might be to somebody else. All those things are variables in a situation, and you can work either way. Sometimes it's better to work, just be who you are. Say, this is me, go out into the world and be it and see what happens. And if what happens isn't pretty, then you know what to focus on, and you know what that you have to work on. And then you try to change that and go back out into the world and just be who you are. And, oh, well, maybe I need some more work on that. So then you do some more work on that. So you can do that kind of a process, being authentic, seeing how that works in the world, and then trying to make it work better. That's, like you say, that is one way. And the other way, I guess I called it, fake it till you make it. You know, you try real hard to not be angry, and with the idea that the more you catch yourself being angry and aren't angry, then you'll grow up slowly, you'll become it. But that can be a slippery slope, because you know the risk there isn't of being obnoxious and hurting people's feelings. The risk there is that you will begin to become an actor and not really change. So then you have to be aware of that. All right, am I just acting? Well, you can say, okay, that's the best I can do now. But at least I'm diffusing, you know, unpleasant situations. My acting is in a way of not making it worse, not pouring more gasoline onto the fire. So that's good. But think about it and say, all right, I need to do better than act. I need to really not get upset or anxious or angry. And how can I do that? What can I change about me? What is it that makes me that way? You know, what is that fear, and how can I get rid of that fear? How can I understand it enough that I can put it aside and say, I'm not, you know, I don't feel that way anymore. I'm not inadequate. I'm fine. And if people say I'm inadequate, well, it makes me wonder, well, I wonder where they're getting that perspective from, rather than, oh no, I'm inadequate. Oh yeah, I fear I'm inadequate. Now they're telling me I am. Oh, that makes me upset. So faking it until you make it can be a good strategy, but it can also trick you into thinking that you're better when you're just acting and not actually being. So you have to be aware. Through this, all of these processes, you have to be entirely honest with yourself. As soon as you're not honest with yourself, then you're in your ego. You're in your beliefs. So you got to work at it, you know, and almost everybody finds that they fail a whole lot in the beginning working on it. It's not one of those things that you say, oh, now I understand it. Okay, I'm different now. It generally doesn't work like that, because it's not an intellectual problem. Intellectual understanding points the way, but the actual changing yourself is a more difficult thing. It takes a lot more time and work. So I think you're doing it right. You know, you have different approaches for different situations. sometimes just acting better and defusing the situation is the right thing to do first. And then later that day, after you're out of that diffused situation, think about it. Why did I feel like that? Why did I get so upset? Why did that make me so nervous? Why did I get so much anxiety about that? Oh, well, there's a fear. There's a fear that maybe I won't perform as well as I should. Okay, well, let's look at that fear. What's the worst thing that could happen? All right, when I get up to give that talk and stand up in front of those people, let's say I just do a terrible job. I stutter, I stumble around, I can't remember what it is I want to say. What's the worst thing that could happen? Say I do that. Well, probably the worst thing that'll happen is people will come up afterwards and say, gee, you really were nervous, weren't you? I felt so bad for you, but maybe you should just practice more. Go into your mind and deliver that speech 100 times to an imaginary audience until you've said it so many times that all the right words will come out of your mouth perfectly in the right order and in the right way, because this is the 101st time that you've gone through it. All right, maybe that's what it takes. It's a lot of work, but that may solve the problem. You see, so the worst thing that could possibly happen usually isn't all that bad. It's something you can get over. It's like, well, okay, it would trash my ego. Everybody would say, oh, poor guy, he can't speak, or he can't do this very well. Oh, well, how unfortunate for him. Okay, but so what? You're in the process of learning and growing up. Other people's opinions of you really aren't all that important. Your opinion of yourself is most important. And if the opinion you have of yourself is, well, I did it, I didn't do so well, I'll do better next time. Next time, this is what I'll change. Now you're a little better. And you go back and you do it again, and maybe you still didn't do great, but you did better. But you learn, and now the next time you're even better yet. And eventually, you walk out there and you talk to that crowd of people like you own you own the event. You're confident, you're sure. But you may have to walk out and embarrass yourself 4 or 5 or 10 times first before you get to that point. And if you're afraid to do that, then you may never get to that point, you see? So that's where the courage to be authentic is essential. You need to go do it and be it and accept whatever the worst is. All right, I accept that. And I'll get past it. I'll grow beyond it. But I need to take the first step, even if the first step is a dismal step. Take it and do the best I can, and I'll learn from it. That's the point. You don't have to do it right. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be trying to be better and being aware of the problems that you have. Other than that, failure is not a problem. Not learning from the failure is a problem. So don't feel like other people's opinions are all that important to you. You'll know when you make mistakes. You'll know when you do it wrong. And whether anybody else knows or not isn't really important. If other people think, oh, yeah, he's making mistakes, he's doing it wrong, well, that's okay. Or if they think that when you feel like you're doing fine, that's okay too. That's them. Let them be them. Let other people have whatever opinions they have. That's okay for them to have a negative attitude towards you. It's not your problem. That's their problem. And if it becomes your problem, then you have to solve it by dealing with it in a positive way. So it all starts with a core positiveness about self, confidence that I can grow up, I can be better, I can get rid of this ego, I can get rid of these beliefs, I can get rid of my fear. All right, I'm going to mess up a whole lot because it's not an easy thing to do, but that's okay too, because I'm going to learn from it. And as long as you have that positive attitude, you'll just continually get better and better. And that's the whole point. So don't be concerned with not being as efficient as possible in your path, or not doing doing it right this time, or I should have done it a different way, or I didn't get the balance right. Don't worry about any of that. Just do it the way you think is best at the time, and then learn from it. And all the rest of it, all the problems, then will eventually just go away because you keep learning every time. So sometimes people let the fear of doing it wrong paralyze them from doing it at all. And that's a worse problem because we only learn through experience. And we only have experience if we get out there and do it, be who we are, and then try to change who we are if it doesn't work well. Do it again. Change a little more. Do it again. Change a little more. And by the time you're on your 50th or 60th or 100 change, you're a whole lot better. Things are totally different now. And then people maybe will see you differently, or maybe they won't, but it doesn't matter. You know you're growing up. You know you're getting better. So you feel good about that and positive.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, that makes sense. And would you say that acting authentically then works more with the being level, since you're learning from your authentic actions and the consequences that happen naturally from?
Yeah. It's probably a little more direct because you just are being who you are. Yes, that's very direct. You're at your being level. This is who I am. And those lessons will be a little harder, a little more harsh, but probably quicker. You know, you're diving right into the problem head on. The other way is you're trying to kind of sneak up on the problem a little bit at a time, you know, which it just depends on the problem and your personality and how you function and so on. Both will work. But yes, I'd say that the just being who you are and, you know, seeing what happens and then trying to change that is probably the most direct way. But if that's a little harsh, maybe it depends also on the people you're dealing with. Maybe the people you're dealing with can't deal with that level of harshness or that level of reality, that level of existence. They need things watered down in small steps that are not, you know, so stressful for them. Well, in that case, you need to do it different if you're with other people who need a slower pace of change. So it just depends. Which one's best depends on the situation that you're in.